Okay, so values. Let's see, values. So when you go into the inspector on this side, let's say click the player, okay, go over to player script, self-explanatory for the player. Player speed when he's normally walking, sprinting speed, crouch speed, normal jump length, sprint jump length, which needs to be lower dramatic, really bad. Jump float length is the value that keeps the player in the air and he starts falling. And the normal jump time, which is the just pushing the spacebar when you're not sprinting. And obviously you can't jump on crouch. Now, for the camera, if you want to adjust all the settings for this, you just click on the main camera because it's now its own game object. Ignore these. These actually get values when the game actually runs, so just ignore those. Um, I put comments in. You just hover like the camera offset. This sets the position of the camera. No matter what you do to the camera, and up here in the transform, it's not going to matter. You need to set it in camera offset on the third-person camera script. Let's see, damping. Damping. Just hover over it. It tells you what it is. How fast the camera keeps up with the player. If you want to change the values for that, I put everything in the slide bar so you can adjust it. Let's see. The speed vertical controls the sensitivity for the vertical axis. Speed H, obviously same thing. This controls the sensitivity for the horizontal axis. This max and minimum right here. That's the max, how far the player can look up, how far the player can look down. The joystick dead zones. The joystick dead zones is essentially when the player is physically puts the remote down and the analog sticks are not being moved. It makes the player stay still. Because this is going to have to be some type of setting inside of the options menu, because we all know how analogs get when they get older. They get out of whack. The analogs become not aligned with the remote anymore, and sometimes the analog could be slightly to the right or slightly to the left or anywhere. And I see this in a problem in a lot of video games where they don't allow the player to make their settings for their remote. They expect that you're going to have a brand new remote every time you play a game, but we all know that remotes are expensive. I think the player should have the option to create their own dead zone for their remote so their characters don't move on their own. So that's why I created the whole dead zone thing. So maybe it's a good idea. But that's the those are all the settings. It's really easy to configure. I guess Kyle, if you want to change the settings, like I said, how you want to, because this is your game. Um, if you feel, play around with change the settings, play around, see what settings are best suit your game for you. Let's see. Also, let's see if I can do this. No, I shut that off. There we go. Now let's minimize. Actually, let's minimize. Can I change the order? There we go. So let's change. What screen is this? Ah, I have no clue what screen that is. Why is there a third screen? It's weird. Remove. Ah, that's weird. Hold on, I gotta add another display. Going to be, nope, not that one. There we go. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna bring this down. It's not letting me. That's weird. Hmm. Oh wow, that made it really big. Yeah, so make it smaller. Border, put this over here. Okay, there we go. That took long. So, what I'm going to do here is show you the damping, which is the speed of the camera that follows the player. There's another, I might have to change another value because it's going to look weird if I change that. Okay, so this is, yeah, it's doing it again. I got to change that. Yeah, character jumps like that. It's got to get changed. That has got to get changed. Whatever, I'll change it after this video. Not a big deal. But let's put the damping to 10, because that's what I made the max value at. Takes a long time. Okay. So see that this the other value. There's another value in there I got to change. It makes it look weird, like this. I believe I can just change it here, and it changes it in the update. It should. Yeah, it does. So the lower you go to damping, the further the camera is. Um, but let's see. Still very slow. Oh. Whoa! There, buddy. There you go. Yeah, because if you go backwards, now the character's running backwards. It's trying to catch up with the character. Um, as for, oh my god, that's gonna make me sick. I'm gonna put it back to 5. There we go. Jesus. Vertical up, I have set at 1. Oh, that's vertical speed. So we put that down here. Now I'm moving the mouse as fast as I could. It's not, like I said, you can change it whatever you want. And I fixed that little jump thing yesterday. I gotta fix that. I need to calculate it to when the damping is changed, it also changes this value. So I'll probably do that. That's that. As for the as for the max and min, if I was to do, let's say 10, this is obviously negative 10. The max should always be the opposite of, or the minimum should always be the opposite of the maximum. So I look up. That's as far as I can look up. That's as far as I can look down. Um, you can constrain it to even. Oh, that's too low. Up, down. But forgot where I had it, 35, which might be too much. No, 35 is good. Oh, that's 25. Still 25. God, I just woke up. There we go. That's the original. So when you're in the game and you're I'll show you the camera offset. This just changes the offset of the camera. It's always looking at the player. It's just positioning the camera and where you want it. And then if you like the settings, just right click, go to copy component, and then when you go in here, when you stop the game, obviously everything resets. You just paste component values, and it changes to the settings that you were testing inside the game, and all these would change. So that's about it. It's pretty simple. I gotta go fix that little fuck up there.